What's up, YouTubers? Anyway, let's talk a minute about J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance. I feel like, hey, this is our perfect time to, if he'll learn from Trump and him and Trump work together and he learns a lot and becomes a good vice president, he can become president next after Trump's term's up. We'll have 12 years of Trumponomics. And I'm telling you, that will be the best 12 years we've ever had. Um, I believe J.D. Vance will do a good job because he has the same principles that everybody else has got, and he's a good man. It's obvious he's a good man. Now, there's things in the administration I believe Trump will do, like I'm not looking for revenge. I'm looking for justice. Trump gets back in office, he should immediately get a good DOJ because that's the way he's going to get things accomplished. Is a good one, and then he needs to go after those that have committed treason against this country. And there's a lot of them in there. The swamp is full of creatures that need to be gotten rid of. And he knows that. He knows where the bodies lay. He knows all those things. So he needs a clean house and then turn around and rebuild it back up. The FBI, CIA, get rid of them and then build it all back up. I believe Dan Bongino was the perfect pick for that. I believe that as far as it goes as the media and stuff like that, let's use a point system against them. Tell them, if they get caught in a lie, they get a point. If they get up to 5 points, they get fined $5 million. If they get caught again up to 5 points, that's $10 million. Keep doubling it up. If they do it 5 times in a row, then pull the license. Don't give them license. And then they'll go bankrupt then. That's the only way you're going to stop all the propaganda going on from the media. And because they're causing a lot of problems in the United States by simply just lying to the American people. I mean, if you tell enough lies to people, they'll begin to believe it. And then next thing you know, we have bigger problems than we have had. So there needs to be a point system on them. That's the only way you're going to get them in line. Money talks. You all know the term, money talks, bullshit walks. You get it going, put a point system on them, and then every time they get caught in a lie, give them a point. And I mean, we have enough fact checkers out there for a fact that will definitely catch them in a lie. What gets me is how these reporters will get on the air, and you can tell they are against Trump because they just start, he's going to do this, he shouldn't have done that, or they'll start all that junk up, and you can tell they're against Trump. We don't want to hear all that. We don't want to hear that you're against Trump. We just want you to report the news. That's all we want you to do. Report the news. We don't want your 2 cents in it. And I'm sure I'm speaking for the majority of Americans out there. They do not want to hear your biased thoughts on anything. If you're an anchor person on the media, then you should report the news. That's what you're hired to do, not to give your opinion. Just tell it like it is. Anyway, I feel like we're going to be in for a good next 12 years. And if we play our cards right, I feel like we're going to get this company lined back out. And we already got the House, we got the Senate, and we got our boy in there now. Trump is back. Daddy Warbucks, he's back in the House. He's going to see to it that we're taken care of. He's going to see to it that the United States come first. He'll bring prosperity back to this country. And he's going to make sure lower taxes, cheaper gas, I've said it before, cheaper groceries, utilities to go down, Stock market's already going up, and he ain't even been sworn in yet. Stock market's already going up. So it's all going to turn back around, and we're going to be able to be prosperous again in this country. And we have got to, as Americans, keep these fools anymore from taking over our country like we just had in there. And I'm sorry, he's a fool. He's done nothing but destroy and committed treason against this country. Yeah, I'm talking about your boy Creepy Joe. I mean, think about it. To me, if you let illegal immigrants into the country, and that's what they are, you can get mad you want. They're breaking the law by coming in illegally. And so, like Trump said, some of them probably come out of prisons, some of them come out of insane asylums. I don't know where they came from, but they're not supposed to be here illegally. That's what I do know. And when you let them flood in like that to damage our country, to me, that's committing treason against Americans, against America. So you should be held accountable for that. That's the way I see it. So I believe that the Biden administration that was all involved in that, whoever it was, Harris, Biden, whoever, they should be locked up for it. And they should be sentenced like treasonous bastards they are. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. If I go out there and commit a crime, I'm going to be sentenced. So why can't they? Just because they was politically involved in a lot of things and they've got a little money, you know what? We've got to set that aside, no matter how important they are. If they committed, and I ain't talking about that BS they give our president, Donald Trump, because that's all BS. I mean, everyone in America, I think that's also a reason why Trump won a lot of votes as well, because they could see through all the Democrat BS. That's exactly what it is. They're putting these charges on him that didn't amount to nothing, but they was basically just trying to sink him in debt and trying to bankrupt him. Then they tried to kill him. Yeah, that's right. I said Democrats because when you go out and talk rhetoric against, I guess what you call it, against someone all the time in the public's eye, you have these nut jobs out there that goes in their head, okay, well, maybe I got to find a way to get rid of this guy. So they go out there and they try to assassinate him. So that came from the Democrats. And I'll tell you something else. If you'll remember back, I can remember back when Pelosi or whatever her name is, Pelosi, the old hack, I can remember when she was set up, including Clinton, Miss Clinton, would sit up there and tell people, we have got to change the way our kids are thinking. Start young with them. Start grooming them and changing the way they think. And I remember when they did that years ago, they were trying to, be in the colleges, change them. Let's change them to save democracy. They're not saving democracy. They're killing our country. They're killing everything we believe in. In God we trust. It even says it on the dollar bill. In God we trust. Why can't we still believe in that? Why can't we still have prayers in school? I can remember getting up when I was a kid, having to pledge allegiance to the flags every morning before class starts. I can remember the teacher saying prayers right after we got through with the pledge allegiance. Say a prayer to start our day. No one ever thought anything about it. I grew up as a baby boomer. And I hate to tell you this, I didn't grow up as a middle class child or lower middle class child. I grew up dirt ass poor. Poor. I can remember when I was 8 years old, me, my brother, and my sisters used to have to chop and pick cotton. I picked cotton sometimes till my tip of my fingers would bleed. I mean, that's just the way it is. We I can remember going to school, me and my sister going to school, my younger sister, and we wouldn't even have no meat in the house. We would have to fix mayonnaise between two pieces of bread. That's what we took to school to eat until we got on the WIC program, or whatever you want to call it, the school. Uh, they give you your lunches, low income lunches. They paid for it, but and I can remember going to school with big holes in my jeans. Back then, it was not popular. You was made fun of. All that didn't start changing around until I became a teenager, and then I started doing a lot of hunting and fishing behind the house, out in the woods. And then I kept our freezers full of fish and full of squirrels, rabbit, occasional deer every now and then, and we ate okay then. But I can remember all those things, and I can remember uh, basically just having to do those things because I knew my mother didn't have the money because my father and her broke up when I was about 5 years old. I'm not gonna give you my life history, but they broke up when I was 5 years old. So my mother didn't, was on um, disability, and so we didn't have anything. The houses we lived in, I lived in when I was a kid. I remember them. They would tear them down when we moved out. That's how bad as shit. They were shacks. I remember my mama stuffing stainless steel wool in holes and putting gray tape over just to keep the rats out. I mean, that's just the way it is. Dirt poor. But I'm not going to say it was a bad thing because I learned a lot in life. I learned that you can still be a family and be broke. Just do the best you can. Keep your faith in God, and He's going to take care of you. I mean, He feeds the birds and He feeds the animals. Surely He'll feed His people. So that's what I believe in. And I believe also in the American people. And I believe we have a heart of gold, all of us. We just need to direct that heart of gold where it needs to be directed to. Not hate each other, but work together. When I was a kid, you worked with your neighbors, you helped your neighbors, they helped you. You could walk down the street. If they seen you needed a ride, they'd stop and pick you up and give you a ride. You better not do that today. You may never see daylight the next day, but back then you could. Things were just different back then. People thought differently, and I blame a lot of that on the media because they controlled the narrative of what happened in today's world, and they put bad thoughts in people's minds, and they propaganda make them think things are happening that aren't really there. All propaganda. Anyway, that's what I want to share with you this morning. I appreciate all of you. Love all of you guys and my mega brothers and sisters. Definitely love all you guys. Let's just continue on the fight. We still got a lot of hurdles ahead of us, but we're getting there, and we're in a better standing now than we've ever been. Like I said, we got the House, we got the Senate, and now we got the President. So let's accomplish and help President Trump do the things he needs to do in these next 4 years to line it out so when J.D. Vance takes over, if we get him in office, and I'm sure we will, he does a good job as vice president. When he takes over after Trump leaves, we keep right on Cadillacing, and he'll be sitting pretty when he takes over. So let's just get it lined out for him so when he takes over, he will have it made. And Trump will show him, I guarantee Trump will show him exactly what needs to be done, and he'll put out the policies, and I guarantee J.D. Vance is going to like that stuff. So let's just support them, stand behind them, stand with them, and we may have to get on to Congress occasionally every now and then, call your Congress people up and get on to them, or your senators. Hey, we want to make sure we help Trump. We want to make sure this is what he wants to do. I'm going to back him on it. You may not agree with everything Trump does. I didn't agree with everything he did. I didn't. But I can remember times when I was in the working field. I'm retired now, but when I was in the working field, I can remember times I worked for a chemical company. We had several engineers that worked there. There was one particular engineer nobody liked. Everybody hated him because he was an asshole, bad. But I respected him more than any other engineer because I knew he knew what he was doing. And when he would put a piece of equipment together, I had no doubt in my mind it would work perfectly because I've never seen anything he built that he didn't put his whole heart into and build it right for us operators to see to it that it functioned the way we need it to function. A lot of engineers I seen come in there from straight out of school, they act like they just knew it all and wouldn't listen to none of us operators. They just want to do it, and we'd always have to pay the price for it. It's the same way with presidents. They get in there, the Democrat, Biden, when he got in office, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. I've done this. My grand uncle was eaten by cannibalism or whatever. I'll call it BS. But anyway, uh, just because you hold power does not mean that you know everything. And there's some things I didn't like Trump did, but I respected him. I knew he loved this country, so therefore I was going to back him no matter what. And I'll do it again, and again, and again, and again, until we accomplish what we need to accomplish in America. And that's maintain our freedom, follow the Constitution of the United States that our forefathers set for us, and keep us free. Free. And that boils down to even the Second Amendment. New York, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Taking the firearms out of the people's hands that use them to protect themselves. If I hadn't had a firearm in my teens, tell me where we got food from. I'd had to go steal it. But I was able to feed our family with it. 3 sisters, 1 brother, and my mom. I mean, that's bottom line. If I hadn't had a firearm, I wouldn't have been able to help fill the freezer with food. So, what I'm getting at is let's have a good next 4 years with Trump. Get J.D. Vance elected as president after that, and then let's continue on having another 4 years, another 4 years after that. We got 12 years we're looking at total. If we can't flip this country completely around in 12 years, we got some serious issues. Anyway, God bless you. Have a good day. I'll see you on the rebound.